Hey everyone, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Seeds and Sentiments card. I had this idea for a cool card, a pretty spring card with a little pocket inside for some seeds. I think that's nice, and went with, lemon balm sort of looking leaves with some pansies and terracotta pot, and it turned out really cute. So, first things first, we're going to put some flowers together. They're relatively simple, so nothing crazy, but I do want to help you sort of identify the pieces that go together. Okay, and you're going to want to find yourself a nice thin dowel to do some shaping, relatively simple. Okay, so there are some score mark numbers on these petals, and to me, they're legible. I can read them, I can see what they are, okay? What you're gonna do, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flowers total, okay? We have 4 purple and 2 of this yellowish, well, since I inked it, it's kind of got a little bit of an orange to it as well. And there's 4 pieces to each flower, and I've got them lined up vertically here, okay? Number 3 looks like a little bow. It's 2 little petals together. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Now the 2, the 1 is, they're all the same shape roughly, okay? 2 is the same shape, 3 is the same shape, 4 is the same shape. So as long as you line them up according to their shape, that's one way to do it if the markers are not legible for you, but you can kind of see how that's laid out. So piece number 4 has a little, this, I guess, a peak, or it's kind of rounded in, almost looks like a jelly bean on the bottom. Okay, so that's piece number 4. Number 3 obviously looks like a little bow. Number 2, this one also has that little jelly bean sort of look, number 1, okay? And number 2 has this little odd shape. Okay, so that's the best way I can explain it. And what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna take, and let's just start with number 1, okay? What I'm going to do here is actually take my dowel and place it in the middle, and we're going to kind of cup it like that, so it ends up with this sort of shape. Now obviously I realize this is a card and you may be mailing it, in which case, you know, you don't want too much dimension on it, but we should give it a little bit so that, you know, even if it does flatten out, it's not just sitting flat completely. Because that just doesn't look as good when it comes to flowers. And what we're doing is just trying to cup the flower, basically, okay? So we're just trying to cup it like so. That's it. And we'll just go down the row here and just get all these cupped. I'm almost just kind of running that. This is actually a paintbrush, but I don't have a dowel that is the perfect diameter for somewhere in between a 3/8 and a hibachi stick. So I just went with this, okay? And just literally gonna do that for all the petals. We'll get all of our little flowers. Whoops, gotta do the other side too. And lately we've been using just solid cuts to create some additional details on our foliage, as well as some of our flowers, which I think is nice. Okay, so just go down the row here and just do the same thing. Just kind of curl it up against your dowel, or in this case, I've got a very smooth back edge of a little paintbrush, and that seems to be doing the trick there. And you can see how immediately when we do that, yep, you can see it. It's showing up pretty well on the camera, actually, especially with these purple ones, how the light plays with the paper. You've got some areas that are darker, some that are lighter. Those are called shadows and highlights. And that's what really just makes all of this sort of pop. It's just nice. It's just very nice looking, very natural as well. So I'm just going to shape all these, and then as you can imagine, and as you probably have guessed, we are simply going to glue these sections together using the numbering system that's going to help us kind of figure out the order. Now you notice with this larger one, this is the largest set of petals out of all the flowers. I actually went up a size with my dowel. This is a 3/8 inch dowel. You use something smaller on a piece like this, it may end up sort of creasing the paper, and I don't want that. I want it to look nice and smooth and clean. So with this, that one's tiny, might have to go with a hibachi stick to get that to look right. And this one might crease it. That might be too small, but let's see. That's okay. It is too small though. I'm gonna go back to my little paintbrush. Okay, just gonna cup all of these little petals, and it's a relatively simple card. Oh, and by the way, I spent a few hours coming up with some cool captions for some inserts. We did housewarming, get well, retirement, something else. I don't remember everything, but anyway, so those look nice. And I'm gonna try to move these without losing how they're organized so that we can put the card front and center. Well, not the card, but the planter, okay? So there it is. And I've sort of put these in the correct spot, which I may have to do again, and that's okay. I'll just kind of move them like this. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna take this green layer and glue it right to this lighter green layer, okay? So go ahead and you can apply glue to the entire surface of this section. We've got some, I think that's tea green Encore. That's the name of the color, tea green. This is, I believe, this is not forest green. I can't remember. But anyway, it's in your download, in your PDF. We have all the colors listed there. So we're gonna line this up using the shadow element from the layer behind it. Get that lined up as accurately as you can. I cut all this out with my Caesar Juliet. I've noticed just how much more accurate everything is as a result, which is nice. Okay, cool. All right, so now I'll kind of keep these in the same position here. And with these leaves, we're also gonna kind of train these out a little bit. I'm gonna start with this fella here, okay? I'll grab my 3/8 inch dowel, and I'm just gonna place the leaf between my finger and the dowel, lift it up about 45 degrees, and that's what you should end up with, something like that. Now you'll notice that we have a little series of markers there in the center, and that's for this guy here. And that's way too much glue. I'll thin that out with my finger, get rid of the excess, and you're gonna place this right in here using those little markers. Get that nice and centered. And each of these little partial circles are actually going to help you figure out where to put your flowers. Okay, so we are going to train all of these petals. Okay, we're gonna leave a little bit of, well, they're gonna be sticking up a little bit, they're gonna be trained. What you want you to do is figure out which one goes where, and I'm just gonna align it there, but I'm only gonna press right here. Okay, so you'll see the back of it a little bit, kind of gives it a dimensional look, and those leaves will be just slightly elevated. Okay. So we'll do the same thing here with this one. We'll go ahead and train this up a little bit. And we'll throw a little bit of glue on this round portion. And then I will take and just line this up with one of the leaves. Just make sure that it is accurate. And then go ahead and press it down into place. There we go, just like that. Now we've got this guy here. He's solo. And he can go under or over. Probably gonna put that one under. Let's go ahead and train that leaf. Throw a little dot of glue on there. And careful of the little sprigs back there. Line that up first. Make sure it's lined up, and then just press down on the area that has the glue. Perfect. 2 left. Not a big deal at all. Very simple card, but very effective. Okay. So before you do this, you may just want to go through, grab all of these leaves, and just line them up. Make sure you've got the right ones in the right spot. Okay, these are not numbered, but it's pretty self-explanatory, figuring out where they go. Train this one too. I love the little veins on the leaves. Works great on a lot of colors, actually. Pretty much every color. Definitely more prominent on the darker cardstocks, but even on these lighter leaves here, it's showing up quite nicely. So I love that little addition without having to do too much work. Okay, there we go. We'll press that down. And voila. Okay, cool. So now it's on to making some flowers. Okay, we'll make the flowers first. Let's see. You know what? Whatever. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So we'll start with number 1. Okay, it doesn't matter where it goes. So we're going to do this in the same order each time. Okay, so here's piece number 1, and piece number 1. Let's just say that we want it at like the. If you're looking at a clock, just angle it towards the 1 o'clock. Okay, so it's going to be at about 1 o'clock. We're going to get piece number 2 is going to go on top of piece number 1, and we're going to aim that at about 11 o'clock. Okay, so they should overlap ever so slightly. Just press the 2 circular parts together, and you want them to overlap like that. Okay, we're going to take piece number 3, and we want the petals kind of going up, and piece number 3 is going to go right there, dead center. Okay, just pop that right in the center of those 2. It's a little bit harder with the smaller petals, but definitely doable. There we go. And then piece number 4 is going to be angled or pointing down like this. Get that right in the center. And there it is. There's your first pansy. And of course, these are going to be great and lend themselves beautifully to, well, some sort of pearl or some kind of bling on the inside. All right, so this is the smallest of the purple ones, okay? And this little fella, we can actually no, it's not the smallest. It's the second smallest, actually. So let's hold on to that for a second. We'll group these in just a second, but let's go to the next flower here. Remember, the 1 is at about the 1 o'clock. So go ahead and throw a dot of glue on number 1, grab number 2. Number 2 is going to be on top of number 1. You want the petals to overlap ever so slightly. And if it's, you know, if there's a variation between how you did this one and the next one, that's fine. That's what we want. Okay, throw a little dot in the center. And we want the larger part of the petals pointing up. Just lay that circular part right on top of the circular part from the previous 2 layers. There we go. Another dot of glue in the center. And piece number 4 right at the bottom. Try to line that up as accurately as you can in the center there, just so that we can still see those little veins. Beautiful. That looks great. Okay, piece number 1, again, a little dot of glue. And we can always rotate these so that it kind of changes things up a little bit. Grab piece number 2, overlap that ever so slightly onto number 1. Press down. And I was okay with going a little bit heavier with the inks on these. It looks really nice. A little glue in the center, grab piece number 3. With the taller part of the petals pointing upward. There's that. Little dot of glue there in the center. I might have gone a little overboard there. Let me get rid of some of that. Okay, and piece number 4, pop that right in the middle and press. Okay, there it is. Looks good. All right, last one here. This one I think is the smallest one. Remember, 11 o'clock. Grab piece number 2. We're going to connect that at about, I'm sorry, that was 1 o'clock. Piece number 2 is going at about 11 o'clock. A little dot of glue there. Grab piece number 3, straight in the center, preferably so that the petals overlap the other 2 petals. Hopefully my head's not in the way. Sorry if it is. A little dot of glue in the center for piece number 4, straight down. These are really fun to make, I think, anyway. And there we go. Okay, we can rotate them however we want. That looks cute. Okay, so we have 4 yellow ones, or yellow-orange, I guess. All right, remember, piece number 1 at the 1 o'clock position. Grab piece number 2. Overlap those petals ever so slightly. You can give it a little bit of variation. Okay, it should go real quick. As long as you don't cake this with too much glue, it should be moving along pretty swiftly. There's piece number 3. A little dot there. And piece number 4, right in the center. Pow. There we go. And that leaves one more. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 6 o'clock rock. I don't know why I did that. I put glue on that piece. It wasn't quite ready for it yet. There we go. Piece number 3 going on now. There we go, like that. Dotted glue, piece number 4 going straight down. And there it is. Super cute. Okay. All right, now let's figure out where each of these are going to go. I'm going to organize these by size. Obviously, this is our smallest. These two look pretty similar, and then we have a large. Then we have a small and a big. Okay, and our smallest, purple, we're going to put that down first. It's going to go right, let me move these out of the way. It's going to go right here, like that. Okay, you can foam square these if you want. I think I'm just going to glue them on, actually. Let's put some glue right on the little circular part, and then you want to take this and center it on that little circular part on the green. Okay, there's one. Okay, the next two are pretty much the same size. Okay, and one is going to go here, and one is going to go here, but we're going to kind of work our way clockwise. And what I want to do is take a yellow one. The yellow one's going to go there. I mean, you can mix this up however you want. I'm just showing you how we did it so that everything stays consistent. Okay, grab one of the medium-sized purples. That's going to go right here, like so. Then we're going to grab the large yellow, and that's going to go right here. And we're going to put this purple one here. I might actually lift this up a little bit to kind of get it in there. Try to get it centered on that circular part. Oops. There we go. And finish it off with this purple guy right in the center here. Voila. How cool is that? Yep, that's it. And now one thing I probably should have done before I did that is put this in place, but that's okay. All right, so we've got a terracotta pot here, and let's first start off by putting this on here because this little piece has, it has some little markers. This little decorative part of the pot needs to get glued onto the top section. Now we divided the terracotta pot into 2 sections so that you can ink this, and that creates a little bit of separation and makes it look more dimensional. Okay, so use those little markers to help you with the placement of this piece. That's going to ensure that it's all nice and centered. And press that down. Okay, that looks good. And we'll take this and apply some glue, like so. And that is going to go right on here, like so. And you can see when I ink this bottom part here, it creates separation and makes it look dimensional. Now, let me make sure that I didn't goof this up. Might have to lift that. Yeah, I have to just lift the little plant portion up. We didn't put glue on that, so it's totally fine. That's so cool. That looks really cute. Very beautiful. Okay. And then we'll put the rest of this on after we get this in place. Go ahead and lift up the little greenery there. And then get this lined up accurately. So pretty. Very happy with how this turned out. Okay. All right, so we're gonna grab this little flourish piece. Okay, and let me see here. Actually, before we do that, let's put these little strips in place. Okay, got this one's not as wide as the other one. It's a little bit shorter. This one's going to go on the very bottom. Make sure it's flush with the bottom. Here we go. And this guy's going to go right underneath that one. Go ahead and test it out. Make sure you got it right. That looks nice. And the inking is still visible on that layer there. It's not hiding anything, which is nice. And actually, when you add this little white piece, it's really contrasty. I think I might have it going the wrong way. Yeah. Do I? Nope, I had it right. It tapers in, so just make sure that you have the orientation correct. Look at that. That's cool. All right, and then finally, well, actually, you know what? There's these two little pieces. We tried to not include them, but you could leave them off, I guess. Maybe not because there's markers there. But for this little delicate little piece, just do a bunch of tiny little dots throughout. Try to get a little dot in as many spots as you can. And if it comes out too much, just dab it with your finger a little bit, thin it out, and then use the little markers here to guide you as far as the placement goes. I'm looking at the little points on the bottom first, and then kind of taking a look at everything else. Some of these we might need to adjust, like this little leaf here, kind of is free floating. I had to push him down manually, but that looks great. And then for this little guy, if you have a little pick-me-up tool, that is going to come in handy. I'm going to take this little fella and throw a little dot of glue on there, and you can see what kind of almost looks like a cat's head in these little sections here. I'm going to pop that right in there. There we go. Grab the other one. Now the reason I assembled this separately is because I wasn't quite sure about the background for the card. I wanted to see what this would look like on this or on just a pearlescent. And I mean, I could go either way. I don't know. Wish we could take a vote and do it in real time here. What about with a little bit of green on there? I don't know if I like that. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, so this is the card base, and now you'll notice that it's double scored, and that is just to kind of account for the little seed packets that we're going to put inside. Okay, so obviously with this, I want to take this and glue this down onto the front of the card, ensuring that you have a nice even border all the way around. I want to be able to see a little bit of that green. I'm going to go with this one. Why not? It's kind of got a classy feel to it. Really happy with how that turned out, actually. It's like really pretty, especially with the inking. All right, so again, nice even border all the way around. Do your best to line that up as accurately as possible. There we go, perfect. Grab my little brayer here. Okay, and you can take this and I'm going to actually just glue it down flat. You can see that there's a series of little markers here. That's to help you. They kind of hug the corners of the top and bottom part of our pot. So pretty. Okay, now it is going to be important that we get a few little dots of glue on these little sprigs up here that are kind of free floating. We don't want those to get ripped up. Okay, and otherwise we don't really need to get glue on every inch of this, as long as you've got enough on there. Okay, use that little guide to help you with the placement. That'll make sure that it's nice and centered and also leveled and all that good stuff. And of course, don't forget to add some bling to the center of your pansies. Okay, if you have any little flowers there that are not sitting flat, grab yourself a thin amount of glue on a scrap piece of paper Just paint it underneath that pedal, whichever pedal is giving you some resistance there. And there you have it. Okay, so it is a relatively simple card, but it's not. So it's, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's not simple. What am I talking about? It's really pretty. I love it. Turned out fantastic. I had a little section there that just did not want to stick. Okay, so there's that. I love this card. That is probably one of my favorite cards ever. Okay, anyway, so there is an insert that goes in here. I was going to print those out, and I didn't, but maybe I will here in a second so I can show you. But if you're not doing the insert, just grab the other piece that looks like this shape, get it glued in here with an even border. And on this side here is where our pocket's going to go. So here's the pocket, okay? And you're going to fold it like this so that you have a little valley fold going in, and same on the bottom, okay? And what you can do is literally just take and put glue on these large tabs, like so, and just glue that down, the back of it right on there. And it should fold flat. Once you've folded at the score marks, this thing should be able to push down and fold it flat, like so. Okay, and there's your little pocket. And then that pocket, you're just going to glue. You can see that there's a series of little markers here on this side. You're just going to glue that right there, like that. And that should hold your seeds. So let me show you, I'm going to do the little print to cut thing, show you what that looks like, and then also show you how the envelope goes together. But in the meantime, let's get this glued into place. You can go a little heavier with the glue here. And we added that little score line element with the little fold so that you can, well, this thing's obviously not going to close all the way, but it should close enough. Okay, and you'll notice that I'm pushing down on it. That's okay though, because this thing's going to be possibly sent in the mail. Okay, so there's your little pocket. Okay, so off camera here, I was just kind of playing around with some bling for the centers. I've not glued them down yet, but they're kind of sticky, so they might stay. But I'm going to glue those down. But check this out. Here is one of the inserts. I don't remember how many there are exactly, but you can see that I've included. This one says, enclosed are a few tiny reminders that growth and healing both start small. Plant these seeds and watch something beautiful take root, just like your strength. So if you opt to do it without the seeds, we have some inserts with sentiments that do not talk about seeds at all, but there is one for each occasion that references the included seeds. So, of course, as I mentioned, you're going to glue this down onto the right side of the inside of the card, and left plenty of room for you to sign it. I've also included a blank one in case you want to make your own insert. That's totally up to you. I'm giving you a lot of options here, but again, make sure that this is lined up properly, because mine's not. There we go, much better. Okay, let's get the brayer out. All right, so there is the beautiful card. You can see I did not glue those down. I recommend that you do. And these are my favorite seeds, botanical interests. You can see that, depending on the type of seed that you include in there, I'd say about 3. But anyway, so that's the beautiful card. That's ready to go. Let's take a look at the envelope. And we've kind of devised a cool little method of, okay, so here is the envelope itself. Obviously, this also has double scoring on it, so you're going to want to fold at both of the lines there. And we're going to take this part here. And this is kind of, these wings are a little obnoxious, but that's okay. I'm going to take this part here. This is going to get glued right here, like so. So what I would suggest doing is, number one, we're going to apply some glue to the inside of this section here, just around the center. Don't go too far out. Okay, and then do a little bit around the flower, and if you can, maybe just hit these little thin lines, thin that out a little bit if necessary, and then on this, go ahead and apply your glue around the perimeter, nice and thin. Keep it around the perimeter only so that we don't get glue in spots we don't need it, especially around that flower, and then line up little holes there. So we're actually going to tie this and close it up using some ribbon. Okay, so press that down. And while we have this flat, we do have two little overlays that include some leaves. And just use those little markers as a guide for placement. There's one. We'll do the other side. Pop that right into that little marker there. Check out the bottom. There we go. Perfect. And then this little guy here is going to go right there. You can put it on the inside or the outside. I think I'm going to put it on the inside so it doesn't look awkward. And that is just to reinforce this little section that's going to hold your little ribbon. Okay. There we go. And these we don't really need to glue. Just going to kind of fold them in. Same with this one. Just fold those in. Okay, but what we are going to do is you can see that there's little score marks here on these flaps, and that's just to kind of help you figure out where to place your glue. Okay, and we want to kind of line that up. So definitely a little bit of a different envelope. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to apply our glue. We're take and apply our glue to this little section here. I don't know why I was putting it over there. Keep it within those little score marked areas. Make sure these tabs stay under. Okay, and then just line that up. I don't know if I've ever made a dimensional envelope like this. And if it helps, you can take a little dowel and push up, or just leave it there on the surface so that you have something to push up against as you're getting this to set. Pardon my head here a second. Just find that line and press down. There we go. Okay, so give that a few moments to set, and you'll see that we have plenty of room for the card to slide in there. Okay. And then you're going to take some ribbon, feed it through here, and when you close, you're going to feed it through there as well. Okay, and that's how we're going to close it up. But there's your beautiful envelope along with your beautiful card, and we are good to go. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. A little bit different, again, trying out some new things, and very pleased with how it turned out. Definitely one of my favorite cards. Not overly crazy as far as the details, but the end result is pretty striking, and I think you'll agree as well. So anyway, hope you had a blast. If you did, please visit us on our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. While you're there, hit the little bell so you get notifications anytime we release a new project, whether it be paid or free. And if you make this or anything from this bundle, we would all love to see it. Visit your Facebook and type in or search for Dreaming Tree Official. That's our official group on Facebook, where you'll find myself and over 47,000 of our closest crafty friends. So hope you had a blast. Happy spring, finally. And as always, look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and please consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where you'll find over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly tutorials. I'll see you in the craft room.